Hey everyone, we are constantly hearing about the amazing things AI can do, right? But what about all those AI projects that just fizzle out and disappear? That's what we're talking about today. Why so many of these exciting ideas end up failing, and more importantly, we're going to look at a way to actually fix that.
So let's just start with this number. It's pretty staggering. Study after study shows that a massive 80%, sometimes even more, of all AI projects just fail to deliver. You know, they get stuck as a cool prototype, or they just never create the business value everyone was hoping for.
Okay, so why? Why is that number so incredibly high? Is the tech just not there yet? Well, here's the thing. The answer is almost always no. The problem isn't the AI. It's how we're trying to manage these projects. There's a huge mismatch between the plan and what the project actually needs.
So before we can even talk about a solution, we have to really get to the root of the problem. Let's dig into the common reasons these projects just completely go off the rails. And you'll see that all these pitfalls are kind of connected. You know, projects kick off with this build it and they will come idea without any clear goal for what success even looks like. Teams will just dive right in without asking the most basic question. Hey, do we actually have the data we need for this? And maybe the biggest mistake of all is treating an AI launch like it's a piece of software you just ship and forget. They have no plan for the constant updates and monitoring that these models absolutely have to stay useful.
Yeah, and look, this isn't just about a few small slip-ups. It really points to something bigger, a fundamental problem. The old-school ways we manage projects just do not work for the world of AI.
I love this quote because it just perfectly captures the problem. Traditional project management, it's all about having a predictable path, a defined outcome. But AI projects, they're all about exploration and experimentation. You're not following a map. You're trying to navigate this huge, constantly changing ocean of data.
Let's really break that difference down. Think about a normal software project. What's the most important asset? It's the code. The process is pretty predictable. You build it, you launch it, and you maintain it. But with an AI project, the core asset is the data, and the process is all experimental because the whole point is that the system learns from that data. So the life cycle isn't just launch and maintain, it's this continuous loop. Launch, monitor to see if it's still working right, and then evolve the model as the world and the data changes.
Okay, so if the old roadmaps are useless, what do we use instead? Well, this is where a purpose-built methodology comes into play. It's called the Cognitive Project Management for AI, or you'll hear it called CPMAI.
So what exactly is CPMAI? Well, it's a framework built from the ground up to handle the unique messiness of AI. It's vendor neutral, which just means it works with whatever tech you're using. It's iterative, so it's designed for that constant cycle of learning and tweaking. And this is the big one, it's data-centric. It puts your data and the quality of your data at the very heart of every single step.
And by focusing on those things, CPMAI gives you the guardrails that traditional methods are missing. It actually forces the team to ask those really hard questions right at the start. Like, is the business problem we're trying to solve actually clear? And is our data even good enough to do this? And it makes you build a plan for ongoing monitoring from day one so your model doesn't become totally useless a month after you launch it.
All right, so let's get into the nuts and bolts, the core engine of CPMI. This whole methodology is built around a repeatable path to success that's broken down into 6 iterative phases. And you'll see these 6 phases are set up as a continuous loop. This is so important. It is not a linear checklist that you just do once and you're done. It's a cycle. And if you learn something in, say, phase 4 that makes you go all the way back to phase 2, that's not a failure. That's the process working exactly like it's supposed to.
Okay, phase 1, business understanding. Everything, and I mean everything, starts here. This phase is all about fighting that urge to just jump in and start playing with the tech. Before you even look at a single piece of data, you have to define a very specific business problem and figure out exactly what success looks like. You know, a vague goal like, let's improve efficiency is a total recipe for failure. But a goal like, let's reduce customer service response time by 15%, now that's a target you can actually aim for and hit.
All right, next up, phase 2, data understanding. This is the big reality check. Do you actually have enough data? Is it the right data? Is it full of hidden biases that are just going to poison your model from the start? Answering these questions honestly, right here, can save you millions of dollars down the road. Because honestly, this is the stage where a lot of projects secretly die before they even get started.
Phase 3 is where the real heavy lifting happens. data preparation. You've probably heard the saying that 80% of AI work is just getting the data ready, and this is why. It involves the painstaking work of cleaning up messy inputs, labeling thousands of examples, and building it all into reliable pipelines that can actually feed a learning model. You know the phrase garbage in, garbage out? Well, this is where you stop the garbage from ever getting in.
So it's only now, in Phase 4, that we finally get to model development. This is the part most people think of when they hear doing AI. But it's not just about picking some cool algorithm. It's about running dozens of experiments, training multiple versions of a model, and, this is absolutely key, systematically tracking what works and what doesn't. If you don't have that discipline, you're really just guessing.
And then we hit Phase 5, model evaluation. This is the moment of truth. Does your model just look good on paper, or does it actually meet those business goals you set all the way back in Phase 1? This is where you test it like crazy against both the technical benchmarks and, more importantly, the business goals.
And finally, we get to Phase 6, model operationalization. Now, this is about way more than just hitting deploy. It's about putting the model out there into the real world and, critically, setting up the systems for real-time monitoring so you can manage its performance and retrain it over its entire lifecycle.
But look, just getting a model out there and working is only half the battle. A truly successful AI project isn't just about being effective. It has to be trustworthy.
And the beauty of the CPMAI framework is that it weaves these principles into the entire process. It's not some checklist you look at the very end. From checking for data bias way back in Phase 2 to demanding that the model's results are explainable in Phase 5, trustworthiness is built in, not just bolted on. And that's what ultimately builds confidence with your users and reduces huge business risk.
So let's end with this thought. An AI project, it isn't a building that you just construct once and then walk away from. It's more like a living garden. It needs constant care, constant tending, and the right guidance to really grow and flourish. So the question to ask yourself is this: are you trying to build it with a static blueprint, or do you have the right guide to actually help it grow? Thanks for watching.